This is Eyewitness News on LA56 with live breaking news.
Breaking news, a standoff is taking place right now in Orange County following a police pursuit. Details straight ahead.
Also, comments by the Pope on the mass killing of Armenians nearly 100 years ago are making waves around the world, including here in Southern California. We have local reaction.
I'm getting ready to do something too. I'm running for president.
Hillary Clinton is joining the 2016 presidential race. See the official announcement made today on her campaign website. Good evening, I'm Giovanna Lotta.
I'm Jory Round. Welcome to Eyewitness News at 7 on LA56. We begin with breaking news in the city of Orange, where that police pursuit has ended and a standoff is underway. This is all happening right now just outside the Lamoureux Justice Center. The suspect is inside a maroon SUV and has not come out for about an hour now. Police say the suspect is armed and believed to be alone. Police say the Tustin police went to the suspect's Irvine home regarding criminal threats he made against a female victim through the phone. At some point, it sparked a police pursuit which went through Irvine and Santa Ana before arriving in Orange. We will continue to monitor this situation and update you throughout our newscast.
Another standoff today in Carson came to a tragic end. Authorities say an elderly man shot his wife and then killed himself. This all started when sheriff's deputies heard a gunshot at a house in the 500 block of East Moorhaven Drive. Eyewitness News reporter Leanne Suter has reaction from stunned neighbors.
Tears and heartbreak after a murder-suicide leaves an elderly couple dead.
Mr. and Mrs. Wills are staples of this community. They were our neighborhood parents, and it's hard to fathom and even contemplate that Mr. Wills would actually do something like this.
Family and friends identified the suspect and victim as Roy and Lucille Wills. The couple married 55 years. The deadly gunfire rang out inside their Carson home on East Moorhaven Drive. It was their son who called authorities around 6:30 this morning after getting a devastating phone call.
The male individual had called his son in the Palmdale, Lancaster area and made some indication that he had killed his mother. And in turn, Carson Station was notified and began the response.
Investigators say Wills talked briefly with the deputies before barricading himself in the house. Several gunshots were heard as crisis negotiators tried to reach Wills. When authorities entered the home hours later, they found the husband and wife dead.
We never thought in a million years that he would do something like this. Maybe he was depressed, or the medication that he was taking. But other than that, he was a nice guy. He really was, him and his wife.
Family members say Wills had open heart surgery last year and has been severely depressed. They say he was on medication, was being treated by a doctor, but say it wasn't helping. No one thought it would end like this.
Never saw this coming. Knew he had been ill, had a few problems. I just want to really everybody to pray for the family. Medical illness right now is kind of taking a lot of lives and going through a lot of changes, sending people through a lot of unnecessary changes.
Authorities say they have been called to the home before and say during a visit earlier this year, several weapons were removed from the house. In Carson, Leanne Suter, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Our other top story tonight, it is official. After months of dodging the question, Hillary Clinton is finally saying she will be running for president for a second time, but she didn't do it in person. Instead, the campaign kicked off with a video sent out on social media. Here's ABC's Cecilia Vega.
A presidential campaign launched on YouTube. Hillary Clinton making her long-anticipated entry into the 2016 race officially official with this.
My daughter is about to start kindergarten next year, and so we're moving.
A video that doesn't even show her face until halfway in.
I'm running for president.
The former First Lady, Senator, and Secretary of State once again hoping to be the first woman in the Oval Office, making her pitch through voices like these: moms, workers, black, white, Spanish-speaking, and gay.
I'm getting married this summer to someone I really care about.
It will be the theme of her campaign for the next 576 days. She says the focus is not on her, but on people she calls everyday Americans.
Everyday Americans need a champion, and I want to be that champion.
And while her supporters are cheering, Chelsea tweeting, "Very proud of you, Mom." So many others ready to pounce. From SNL,
Hillary would make a great president, and I would make an even greater first dude.
To Republicans, opponent Rand Paul releasing this ad today.
Hillary Clinton represents the worst of the Washington machine.
Clinton may be the presumed Democratic frontrunner, but according to a new poll, 72% of Democrats and independents say it would be a good thing if she faced a serious challenger.
Don't you someday want to see a woman president of the United States of America?
First stop on the campaign trail, Iowa, where Clinton will meet with small groups of voters. The one person who won't be there, her husband. And while we won't be seeing Bill Clinton out there during those first few weeks of travel, a top aide to Hillary Clinton tells us that the former president is in fact involved in virtually every major political strategy session, and that he is in fact Hillary Clinton's top political advisor. Cecilia Vega, ABC News, Brooklyn.
On the GOP side, another contender will join the fray soon. In the next couple of days, Republican Senator Marco Rubio of Florida, the 43-year-old, is expected to launch his campaign tomorrow from his hometown of Miami. The Freedom Tower was originally picked as the expected backdrop for Rubio's announcement. The landmark was once the federal processing center for tens of thousands of Cuban exiles arriving in the U.S. in the 1960s and 70s. Some party officials, though, would rather see Rubio run for governor or hold on to his Senate seat, which could be crucial to the GOP's hold on the Senate.
In the Inland Empire, a manhunt is underway for a dangerous carjacking suspect who opened fire on a police officer. San Jacinto police say they got a call around 9 o'clock last night of a man with a gun. Officers tell us that they tried to stop the suspect's vehicle and a chase then began. During the pursuit, the suspect fired several rounds from a high-powered assault rifle, hitting the patrol car. Then the suspect crashed into a house a few blocks away. The man got out of the car and took off on foot. He has not been caught. The officer was taken to a hospital as a precaution. Meantime, a pileup involving a San Fernando police patrol car. The three-car crash happened just before midnight on the northbound 5 near Van Nuys Boulevard in Arleta. 2 lanes were closed for about an hour while crews loaded the cars onto tow trucks. The cause of the crash is under investigation. No one was injured.
It was a scary scene in Garden Grove overnight when a truck lost control and swerved into oncoming traffic, hitting 2 parked cars. It happened just before 2:30 this morning on West Street. The Toyota Tundra, driven by a 20-year-old man, also collided with a power pole, shearing it off at its base. Dozens of homes in the area were temporarily without power. Both the driver and the passenger were taken to UCI Medical Center for treatment. Anyone with information on the early morning crash is asked to contact Garden Grove Police. Sharp criticism tonight from the lawyer representing the man seen on video being beaten by several San Bernardino County Sheriff's deputies. That video, shot by KNBC Los Angeles, shows Francis Pusock being kicked and punched by deputies following a 2.5-hour chase on Thursday. Jim Terrell represents Pusock, who is due in court for arraignment tomorrow. He says without the video, he believes Pusock would be facing multiple counts of assault on an officer.
And if he had died there, big deal. They would have called it excited delirium. They would have come up with some kind of reason that it happened, and all the officers would have wrote, he kept attacking and charging us, and there's nothing we could do. That's business as usual. We need to stop that, and that's one of the things we want to do.
Terrell says Pusock is suffering from balance and speech problems after that incident and that he needs to undergo medical tests. He's also calling for the names of the 10 deputies who are now on leave as a result of this arrest, saying their prior arrests should now be reviewed. Meanwhile, the FBI has opened a civil rights investigation.
Pope Francis today condemned the massacre of Armenians by Ottoman Turks, calling it the first genocide of the 20th century. Eyewitness News reporter Melissa McBride has reaction from Armenian Americans here in Southern California.
La nostra umanità.
Speaking in Italian, Pope Francis said the words Armenians around the world have longed to hear. The pontiff honored the 100th anniversary of the Armenian genocide by calling it, quote, the first genocide of the 20th century. He says by concealing or denying evil is like allowing a wound to keep bleeding without bandaging it. Historians estimate the Ottoman Turks killed 1.5 million Armenians in 1915, but Turkey denies a genocide took place.
The current government of Turkey has not recognized the Armenian genocide, so they have not repented, and our people are still suffering from the wounds of that.
In Van Nuys, Armenians gathered to remember the victims. 150 balloons were released in their honor. In Encino, about 500 cyclists pedaled 11 miles for the Cycle Against Denial. The event aims to draw awareness to the issue. Hearing the Pope urge the international community to acknowledge the Armenian genocide speaks volumes for those who have demanded recognition.
Which is a very loud and clear message to the rest of the world that this is not right. Genocide is not right. Genocide that happens against any people is not right, and it should be recognized throughout the world.
On April 24th, thousands of Armenians will take to the streets of Hollywood for the annual March for Justice. This year's march will mark the centennial of the Armenian genocide. Those who plan to take part say their message extends beyond their community.
This is a human issue. This is an issue of human justice. So we're here to, commemorate and protest all the genocide.
The March for Justice on April 24th will begin in Little Armenia and end at the Turkish consulate. In Encino, Melissa McBride, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Turning now to our weather, another gorgeous day, a great way to end the weekend. Danny Romero's here with a first check of your forecast and how the week is going to look. Danny.
All right, thanks very much, Jory and Giovanna. And it's a gorgeous day down by the Cozy Cone Motel at Radiator Springs there at Disneyland California Adventure. Just beautiful day in Orange County. Sunshine all around, blue skies, and the temps are very nice and mild over the area as we speak here on an early Sunday evening. Still in the 70s, but low 70s for Ontario at 72, 71 for Burbank, 73 for Van Nuys. A little more heat right now in Hemet at 81 degrees, of course, Palm Springs at 83. But the coastal spots, that's where we're seeing the cooler air already in place with some clouds and even fog rolling in before the night and morning hours are going to be done. So right now, 69 at Long Beach, 62 at Santa Monica out by the pier, and 62 in Oxnard right now. And tonight, clouds come in. We'll call it partly cloudy skies. 57 for the low in the basin. And then things start to turn around quite a bit around midweek. I'll show you that with a 7-day forecast in just a little bit. Right now, Jory and Giovanna, go ahead.
Okay, Tanny, we'll see in a bit. In Ventura, firefighters quickly put out a fire in the Santa Clara River bottom. Here is a picture from the Ventura City Fire Department. That fire burned dense vegetation in a patch about 20 feet by 10 feet in a remote area under the 101 freeway near Johnson Drive. Authorities say the fire was ignited by an abandoned campfire in a homeless encampment. No one was injured and no arrests have been made.
Firefighters across Southern California are preparing for a particularly tough fire season following 4 years of drought. Fire agencies are ramping up staff and resources as early as tomorrow. That's well before they normally do. Some got an even earlier start, adding extra firefighters in March. Ramping up manpower and resources didn't used to happen until the end of May or in June. The chance of a wildfire in California typically peaks in autumn, but fire officials say the ongoing drought has made wildfires a year-round concern. Eyewitness News is committed to helping you beat the drought, and we want to hear your ideas. Join the circle of eyewitnesses and tell us what you're doing to save water, or share pictures or video when you see water being wasted. Just post on social media with the hashtag ABC7Drought.
Eyewitness News returns with these news stories.
An Oklahoma deputy shoots an unarmed black man, killing him, and it's all caught on video. Why the deputy says the deadly encounter was a mistake.
And it's a somber Sunday in parts of Illinois as families begin the healing process after several tornadoes ripped through the area. We'll have an update.
A deadly mistake caught on camera where another unarmed black man has been killed by Oklahoma law enforcement. Authorities in Tulsa released video of a suspect being shot by a deputy. The deputy says he meant to use his taser but accidentally grabbed his gun instead. First, a warning. This footage is hard to watch.
Oh, I'm sorry.
As deputies caught up with the fleeing suspect, Eric Harris, one officer announces he's going to use his taser. The next sound is a gunshot. Investigators say this all started when Harris was caught in a sting operation trying to sell a gun to an undercover sheriff's deputy and then took off. It was a 73-year-old former police officer and current reserve deputy that fired the accidental but fatal shot. A Tulsa City police sergeant is now serving as an independent consultant in the case.
You can train someone as much as you can, and you train in every area that you can. But in times of crisis, sometimes training is not going to take you through the scenario.
The Tulsa Sheriff's Department is calling the shooting an inadvertent mistake, blaming it on a phenomenon known as slip and capture that causes mistakes in stressful situations.
Meantime, in South Carolina, Reverend Al Sharpton thanked the mayor and police chief of North Charleston today for their response to the shooting of Walter Scott. Sharpton spoke today at a Baptist church. Mayor Keith Summey and Police Chief Eddie Driggers were among those in the congregation. Sharpton says that in the Deep South, they did what could not be done in the North and Midwest. Scott was fatally shot after fleeing a traffic stop on April 4th. The officer is now charged with murder after a video surfaced showing Scott being shot as he ran away. A fiery plane crash kills 4 people in Florida. This video was shot just moments after the crash. Witnesses say the plane banked sharply as it approached Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport, then plunged to the ground. Firefighters put out the ensuing fire, but none of the 4 people on board survived. The NTSB and FAA are both investigating the crash.
Signs of healing just days after several tornadoes tore through Illinois. Many victims found comfort today at Sunday church services. A special mass was held for them at this Catholic church in Rochelle. Meanwhile, this weekend, people are beginning to assess and clean up the damage. The strongest tornado touched down in Fairdale, killing 2 people and injuring 22 others. Millions of homeowners are facing a dramatic jump in flood insurance premiums, thanks in part to Superstorm Sandy. People who live in high-risk flood regions are dealing with rate hikes of up to 18%. That includes some of the communities hit by Sandy in 2012. The rate increases are the result of new legislation that went into effect this month. A FEMA spokesman says the legislation aims to keep the program afloat in the long term. Right now, it has a deficit of $24 billion.
Danny Romero joining us now. You know, Danny, I was talking to my dad the other day. And he said we need to figure out a way
Where's
to connect back east.
Okay.
And he said we need to find a way to connect the entire nation so that when there's a flood in one area, they
the
get that water out here where we need it so desperately.
Really big.
There's got to be a way. Well, you turn the pipeline that they want to do north-south with oil, turn it sideways, and just pump water into that side.
Is that your dad's idea?
Yeah.
You got all the answers.
That's it. Smart men, Mr. Rand over there. Jeez.
I don't know what happened to me. It's going to skip a generation, I guess.
I'm glad he said it because I was going to and I didn't want to sound like a mean guy. Hey, look, here's the story. We've got ourselves some sunshine coming our way and then a real pickup in the heat and the winds as well. We look outside and things are looking absolutely gorgeous. Look at this. We got a shot here, our live HD camera to Laguna Beach. It's been great like this all day. And now as the night rolls in, on the beach areas, we're going to see a little cloud cover, even some thick fog at the beaches. But overall, we're going to see a lot of sunshine before it's all said and done. Here's a great shot. A plane enjoying the view going through the skyline of L.A. Just a beautiful blue sky here in the early evening. 67 degrees right now with a breeze of 3 miles per hour and our relative humidity at 59% and a barometer that's on the rise at 29.93. Today, we got to 77 downtown, a little bit above the average of 72. But still not a bad day overall, is it? Our sunset happening at 7:22 right now as we speak, and sunrise at 6:25 on your Monday morning. And the changes start to happen right about midweek. We've got this little onshore flow that gives us the clouds and the fog on the beach and coastal valleys tonight and tomorrow morning. But the real weather maker will be coming our way right about Wednesday when we see this ridge of high pressure really build in, turn everything around from that onshore flow to a strong offshore flow with Santa Ana winds and warm temperatures as well, part of that weather picture. Tonight down to 56 in San Bernardino, 53 at Lake Elsinore. We'll see Irvine down to 56 and Malibu down to 55. And then tomorrow we're going to see warm temps inland. Cool and cloudy on the coast, so only 67 for Malibu, but inland we'll get to 75 in Pasadena. We'll get to 80 in Ontario, 67 in Huntington Beach, 72 in Mission Viejo, 81 in Riverside. We look ahead now. Here's a 7-day pod back. Weather watch the changes coming. 72 and 74 to start the week for LA Metro and Orange County. And then we jump up to the 80s, right in that midweek I was talking about, Wednesday, Thursday, with the winds kicking in as well. And then we stay pretty warm, lower 80s, upper 70s into Saturday and Sunday. For the valleys in the Inland Empire, morning clouds give way to sunshine tomorrow and Tuesday. And then the heat kicks in on Wednesday and Thursday to the 80s. And then really warming up as we get to Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We go to 85s into next weekend. Now, for the beaches, we're going to see some morning clouds in the fog thick tomorrow morning, so a cooler day with clouds most of the afternoon, 67. A little more sunshine works on Tuesday, then a lot more kicks in Wednesday and Thursday. Breezy days at the beaches, but warm in temps to 70s, and yes, 81 Giovanna down at the beach on Thursday. She loves those warm beach temperatures. Don't we all? 74 and 75 for the highs come Saturday and Sunday. Our mountain spots will be sunny and breezy with 60s for the highs, cooling to the 50s when the winds real strong kick in Wednesday and Thursday, then right back up to a sunny weekend in 63. For the high desert, we'll go hot and breezy with 83 for high tomorrow. Then the winds kick in strong Wednesday and Thursday. Temps drop down to the 70s, but then right back up to the 80s as the winds die down for Friday, and the temperatures jump up to 80 and then 84 into Saturday and Sunday as well. So the warm temps, they're on the way.
They're coming,
Yep.
Danny.
Right.
Thank you.
Sure.
Still ahead, a scare in Ohio.
A woman finds herself in serious trouble over something she did with her child at the Cleveland Zoo. Find out what happened that has her facing possible child endangerment charges.
And a Pennsylvania mother is also facing charges for what she's accused of doing to her severely disabled son. Why authorities call her alleged act heartbreaking.
A Pennsylvania woman is accused of leaving her severely disabled son in the wood for about a week. Now she's in a hospital in Maryland. There's no word on the condition of 41-year-old Nia Parler. She will face several charges, including aggravated assault, once doctors clear her to be extradited back to Philadelphia. Her 21-year-old son has cerebral palsy and is quadriplegic. He was found Friday by a hiker lying on the ground with only a blanket and a Bible near a Philadelphia park. The man was hospitalized for dehydration and other injuries.
This kid's obviously a fighter. It's just unbelievable how we found him out there last night and see that kid laying there. It's heartbreaking to see that another human, especially your mother, can treat someone like that.
Police believe Parler left Pennsylvania to go see her boyfriend in Maryland after leaving her son in that park. She's expected to be extradited back to Philadelphia.
The Cleveland Zoo says it plans to seek child endangerment charges against a woman whose 2-year-old son fell into the cheetah exhibit. Zoo officials say several witnesses saw the woman dangling the toddler over the railing yesterday before he dropped about 10 feet into the pit. The boy's parents were able to jump in and pull him out.
And you just heard this kid screaming. At first everyone was like, why is this kid screaming? And next thing you look, someone's like, there's a kid in a cheetah tank.
The little boy was treated at the hospital for bumps and bruises. The zoo's executive director says the cheetahs never made any attempt to interact with the child or his parents.
Thank God for that.
Yeah.
We are updating our top stories at 7:30.
Also closing the gap on the 710 freeway, how people are responding to the several options being offered to help move traffic between Alhambra and Pasadena.
New reaction pouring in today after the historic meeting between President Obama and Cuban leader Raul Castro.
And he spent 17 years in prison for a crime he didn't commit. Now, find out how much money this man will be paid in a settlement with the city.
This is Eyewitness News on LA56 with live breaking news.
Breaking news here at 7:30. A standoff continues in the city of Orange following a police pursuit. I'm Jory Rand.
I'm Giovanna Lotta. This is Eyewitness News on LA56. The suspect has been inside a maroon SUV outside the Lamoureux Justice Center for nearly 2 hours now. That person is said to be armed and is believed to be alone. Police say it started when they went to the suspect's Irvine home regarding criminal threats he made against a female victim through the phone. That sparked a pursuit. We will continue to monitor this and update you here as well as on ABC7.com, Facebook, and Twitter.
Other top stories. Hillary Clinton is officially running for president. She launched her second bid for the White House online this afternoon with a tweet and a video. Republicans have pounced on her announcement, saying she has a product that is not worth buying. Clinton now heads to Iowa for what's expected to be a series of small events. Her first big campaign rally will come sometime next month.
Now to that historic change in relations between the United States and Cuba. Since President Obama moved to open diplomatic channels in December, small changes are already happening in Cuba. People in both countries expect more changes are coming, but not everyone is happy. Here's ABC's Jim Avila.
Tonight, that historic handshake sparking reaction from Washington to Miami to Havana. The Cuban foreign minister, who was in the room with the two presidents, in an exclusive interview with ABC News, pressing Barack Obama to bypass Congress and use executive action to lift parts of the embargo and to quickly announce Cuba's removal from the state sponsors of terror list.
It was unfair. I'm confident that President Obama will take the right and just a decision.
The Cubans say the 5-decade-long embargo is asphyxiating the Cuban people. But President Obama says the Cold War days are over.
We are not in the business of regime change.
The new era has brought with it more American visitors, more private businesses opening. It's now legal for American credit cards to be used in Cuba. U.S. citizens can bring home $100 worth of cigars. U.S. airlines are applying for regularly scheduled service. JetBlue announcing new service between Havana, Tampa, and Orlando. But today, most Cuban-American politicians criticize the new diplomacy.
I think the president has a misguided calculation that if you open your hands to dictators, that they will unclench their fists.
But recent polls show that even in South Florida, a majority of Cuban-Americans support lifting the embargo, while the minority remains vocal.
It's not going to help the Cuban people. It's going to help only the American businesses.
An independent poll taken last week by our sister network Fusion showed that 97% of the Cubans there support the new diplomacy. The president says he told Castro that he is reading the State Department recommendation that they be taken off the terrorism list. He's expected to make the announcement this week. Jim Avila, ABC News, Panama.
Meanwhile, Mexican authorities announced the arrest of a leading cocaine trafficker for Mexico's top drug cartel. Cesar Gastelum Serrano was arrested yesterday in Cancun. Officials say while in the resort city, he was keeping a low profile, moving around without bodyguards and not carrying any identification. When captured, police say Gastelum Serrano was carrying a pistol and just under 25 ounces of cocaine. The U.S. Treasury Department placed Gastelum Serrano on its drug kingpin list last December, calling him one of the most prolific cocaine suppliers for Mexico's Sinaloa cartel.
In Westminster, one person is dead after two vehicles catch fire on the 405 freeway. The accident happened around 4:45 this morning, just south of Beach Boulevard. 4 vehicles in all were involved. Investigators say a van was rear-ended by another vehicle, causing them both to catch fire. One person inside the van was trapped and died at the scene. 3 others were taken to the hospital. One was treated on the scene. The cause of the crash is now under investigation.
Right now, it looks like speed's a contributing factor. We're still investigating to see if alcohol was, a contributing factor to this, but that'll be for a later date.
All southbound lanes of the 405 were closed but have since reopened. The public is weighing in once again on a more than 50-year-long debate on how to extend the 710 freeway in the San Gabriel Valley. Most of the speakers at a public hearing this weekend say they favor building a tunnel to extend the freeway. If that plan is approved, the freeway would be extended some 6 miles from Valley Boulevard in Alhambra to the 210 freeway in Pasadena. Another proposal on the drawing board calls for building a light rail line connecting East LA to Pasadena.
The doctor strike at student health centers on Southern California UC campuses continued today and will extend to Bruin Day at UCLA tomorrow. That's when high school grads take a tour of their new school with their parents.
What do we want? Student health! What do we want it?
150 doctors are in contract negotiations for the first time since unionizing back in 2013. A similar action began Thursday at the UC campuses in Northern California, and this all follows a one-day work stoppage back in January that is believed to be the first doctor strike in the U.S. in 25 years. In addition to UC campuses, being affected include UC Irvine and UC Riverside. Officials say the student health centers remain open, now staffed by management. And the city of LA has agreed to pay $8 million to a man who spent 17 years in prison for a murder he didn't commit. Obie Anthony filed a lawsuit against LAPD detectives for wrongful imprisonment. The now 40-year-old Anthony and a friend were sentenced to life in prison for the killing of a man during an apparent robbery in South LA in 1994. A few years ago, Loyola Law School students took up his case and learned a star prosecution witness had lied during the trial. Both men had their convictions overturned.
New video in a shocking rape case at a popular spring break destination. Police released some of the cell phone video, which they say shows two college students gang raping an incapacitated woman on a beach chair in Panama City, Florida. The whole thing happened in broad daylight while witnesses stood by doing nothing. The two suspects are students from Troy University. They were arrested and suspended from the school. Investigators believe the victim was drugged before the attack. A chaotic scene in Kenya. A stampede leaves one student dead, dozens more injured. It happened at the University of Nairobi when students mistook several accidental explosions for a terrorist attack. A transformer blew, causing many students to jump from the upper floors of their dorms. One student was crushed by the stampede. Earlier this month, nearly 150 people were killed when extremist rebels attacked a college in the northeastern part of that country.
In Brazil, tens of thousands of people fill the streets for anti-government demonstrations. This is the second day of protests in less than a month against the government of President Dilma Rousseff, whose approval rating has hit a historical low. People are upset over the weak economy, rising unemployment, and a corruption scandal involving Brazil's national oil company. Many are calling to impeach Rousseff. Meanwhile, in Yemen, Saudi Arabia is refusing calls from Iran to stop its aerial assaults on Houthi rebels who now have control of the capital and other parts of the country. Thousands of protesters filled the streets of the country's capital on Friday, condemning the Saudi-led coalition's attacks and calling on the international community to hold Saudi Arabia accountable. Saudi Arabia says it hopes to restore Yemen's president to power after he fled last month.
ISIS has released a video for the first time showing the demolishing of the archaeological site of Nimrud. The new video claims to show militants destroying the site in northern Iraq last month. Militants used explosives to blow the site. Earlier in the video, men are seen using sledgehammers and power tools to demolish artifacts. Nimrud was recently nominated to be placed on UNESCO's list of World Heritage Sites. And across the world, Orthodox Christians celebrated Easter today. In Ukraine, many took baskets full of food and painted eggs to be blessed this morning. They also attended church services and visited bright Easter displays. In Serbia, a small village held its annual egg-cracking festival. Competitors there pair up and tried to crack an egg against each other. While the Catholic and Protestant churches follow the Gregorian calendar, Eastern Orthodox churches use the older Julian calendar to determine the day it is believed Jesus was resurrected.
Much more news still to come here on Eyewitness News on LA56.
The next cargo run to the International Space Station is expected to help satisfy astronauts' caffeine cravings in style. We'll explain.
And some people in Hollywood got a unique wake-up call this morning. We'll show you why these motorcycle riders were revving their engines down the Sunset Strip.
Hi there, I'm Danny Romero. Gorgeous weather over the Southland, but things are changing this week. I'll tell you with a 7-day forecast coming up.
Have you ever really been jonesing for some coffee, but you're really far away from a coffee shop? Well, a gourmet coffee fix for astronauts aboard the International Space Station is on the way. The SpaceX supply ship is bringing an authentic espresso machine straight from Italy. It's scheduled to launch tomorrow with the espresso maker and thousands of pounds of food and other equipment. The espresso machine is intended for Samantha Cristoforetti of Italy to give her a break from the space station's instant coffee. It is specifically designed to work in space.
Dozens of motorcyclists hit the streets for a special cause today. The third annual Heroes Ride raises money for the families of fallen police officers and wounded veterans. Police officers joined the bike riders as they cruised from the Hollywood Bowl to the Los Angeles National Cemetery, where they held a tribute ceremony. From there, the bikers rode to a sheriff's department training facility for a picnic.
When a police officer starts his shift, he doesn't know if he's going to be coming home that day. And so for the families, it's a sudden occurrence, and we're there to help them when their loved ones are killed in line of duty.
The Heroes Ride not only raises money for the victims' families, but volunteers also offer emotional support as well.
Yeah, we heard those choppers going down Sunset Boulevard this morning. Watching them go by, it was pretty cool stuff.
I bet.
Yeah, still much more news to come.
Up next, on the hunt for marine life, some local high school students set out on an adventure, all to put their photography skills to the test. We'll give you a look.
And in sports, see how a 21-year-old prodigy brought one of golf's greatest courses to its knees today.
Looking for a sweet treat to start your week?
Yes.
Well, Danny says yes. Then head to Sprinkles tomorrow. The cupcake maker is celebrating its 10th anniversary by giving one free cupcake to anyone who stops by. The offer is good at all of the bakery's locations. Let your inner sweet tooth rejoice. Sounds good.
You know what I think when I see that? I just think of Buddy the Elf's reaction. You know how he screams for Santa?
Yeah.
I just imagine him screaming for cupcakes when he hears that.
Free cupcakes! They're free.
Get the red velvet.
That'll be me tomorrow.
Oh, yeah?
Red
when I'm
velvet.
standing
That's
outside.
the one.
Wouldn't you like
That's
the red velvet?
That's the one I like there. Yeah.
So you're like a Sprinkles expert? You're like, you know the menu?
Kind of like
you know
an
the menu at Sprinkles.
They have dog
Look at her.
cupcakes.
How does she know the Sprinkles
No,
menu?
you know they have dog
Ask for
cupcakes,
Mary,
and
she'll
my
give you a
dog
nice cupcake.
loves the little
They have-
doggy cupcakes.
Okay, dog, like they're shaped like doggies? Or
It's a cupcake that you
made for
feed
doggies.
your dog. Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Made out of doggy food?
I don't know if those will be free
Do
tomorrow.
your
though.
doggies eat cupcakes?
They eat anything. Too much.
Okay, let's talk about the weather here. And I'll tell you what, Sprinkles, not in sight at all, unless, of course, the cupcake variety. Because for us, the skies are clear, warm, and even warmer coming our way with some windy conditions on the way as well. Here we are looking outside, and I got our HD camera going there to Irvine Spectrum, and it's a clear night through the OC right now, looking pretty good. Downtown LA, wow, a beautiful view there of the skyline with clear skies all around, and a temperature of 67 degrees right now, just barely a breeze of 3 miles per hour with our relative humidity 59%, barometer on the rise at 29.93. We got this great shot of Angeles National Forest, and watch this as the sun sets on the horizon just earlier, just a little while ago, an hour or so ago. Sun coming down, a plane, I think, flying through there. Let's say it was a plane. Otherwise, we're all going to get scared in a second here. Now, let's talk about the week ahead of us. Pretty nice. A little onshore flow right now gives us some morning clouds, some fog along the beach areas, some coastal valleys. But then things really start to turn around. Right around Tuesday into Wednesday, we'll start building up and watching this high start to affect our weather. When this high-pressure ridge really locks in, everything turns around. Now we go offshore. And really strong this time, enough to get those San Ana winds going, which means it'll be cooler inland and then warming as that wind blows towards the coast. So you're going to see some temperatures on the coastal areas warmer than some of those inland desert temps. Show it to you in a second. Right now we're talking about nights lows, 54 for Riverside, 51 for Beaumont, down to 56 in Pasadena, and 55 at Malibu, 51,000 Oaks. And then tomorrow, the afternoon highs, not so much on the coast of the clouds and the fog kind of staying there through the morning hours and then lingering through the afternoon. So only 65 for Redondo Beach and 67 for Huntington Beach. But inland, sun shining up in the day to get to 80 in Ontario, 81 for Riverside. And now the 7-day pod back there. Watch this now. Morning clouds, afternoon sunshine, low 70s to start the week. Then the heat comes in. The heat gets the temps up to the 80s for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and still 79s for Saturday and Sunday. Not bad. Valleys and the Inland Empire, morning clouds, afternoon sun, mild temps Monday and Tuesday. Then the warming starts on Wednesday to 81, and then by the weekend, up to 85, taking us through Saturday and Sunday there. The beaches, cloudy, foggy most of the day. Tomorrow, 67. A little more sunshine Tuesday, a lot more sunshine Wednesday and Thursday, with those winds warming the beaches to 81 by Thursday and staying in that mid to upper 70s range right into Saturday and Sunday. Mountains will be sunny and breezy, temps in the 60s, cooler in the 50s when the winds kick in, and strong gusty winds too. And then by the weekend, sunny and 63 for the highs. Now, the high desert, watch this, 83 when those Santa Ana winds kick in. Cooling down inland, 73 and 75 Wednesday, Thursday. When I showed you the beaches, we're going to be in the upper 70s and 80s. But then by the weekend, the winds die down and the heat settles in for the high desert. We'll get to temps in the 80, 84 range for Saturday and Sunday next weekend. So those beach numbers, look forward to those getting nice and warm.
Yeah,
right?
we'll do.
There you
Thanks.
go.
Danny, thanks. Kurt's here with sports. What were you doing when you were 21?
Getting in a lot of trouble, quite frankly.
Yay.
You think
all any major tournaments?
And I wasn't leaving the University of Texas a couple of years early to get his master's. 18 years ago, Tiger Woods turned the golf world upside down. Woods, that is, winning the Masters at a record 18 under par. Jordan Spieth was 3 years of age, and today he did something Tiger didn't do. He led wire to wire, beginning to end at Augusta. That hasn't been done in some 39 years. Tiger, in the meantime, played his best round in some 2 years, or best 4 rounds, but you can see he's got a dare I say, a boo-boo there. He dislocated a bone in his wrist. Tiger finished 13 back. Story with Spieth. The kid has only played 8 competitive rounds with the Master, never finished out of the top 5. Look at here, over Rays Creek, snuggles up. He's the only player ever at the Masters to get to 19 under. He finishes at 18 under, and a year after he finished in second place, he wins it all. 18 under, ties Tiger, and that's what life is all about. Hugging your grandpa after you just won the green jacket at the Masters at the age of 21. Well, on to the NBA, and Jeremy Lin is out for the season. All right, the Lakers season is down to all of 3 games, including tonight. The question is, that sore left knee that's keeping him out, is it going to end his tenure with the Lakers? He's had some friction with Byron Scott, and tonight the Lakers host Dallas. The Mavericks are up by 6. Dallas trying to hold on to that 7th spot in the West. We'll have your highlights on Eyewitness News at 11. After the Dodgers in Arizona tried to avoid being swept, and the best thing they had going is the man on the mound. Zach Greinke dealing 7 strikeouts and 7 solid innings of baseball, looking like his old Cy Young self today. They had quiet bats in the Arizona desert the first 2 days, but not today. Yasiel Puig busting out of that 138 slump to start the season. Jacques Peterson homered in the 6th inning. Then here in the 9th, Alex Guerrero takes aim at Sedona. Big Blue led 7-0. They gave up 4 runs in the 9th, but hold on for that 7-4 win. As for the Angels, boy, they are struggling, or is it just the fact they're playing the Kansas City Royals? In the first, Albert Pujols, he takes aim at Cal State Fullerton. You're looking at history, home run number 522, passing Hall of Famers Ted Williams, Willie McCovey, and Frank Thomas. 18th best in history. C.J. Wilson was sensational in his first start. This was his second, and he was not good. Alcides Escobar drills it off the wall. That scores 2. Wilson gave up 6 earned runs in just 5 innings. Counting the playoffs last year, the Royals own him 9-2. Even my pastor was making jokes about that, who's from Kansas City today.
Yeah, let's not let Royals fans get too ahead of themselves. It's been 1 season of success.
Amen.
In a long time.
Thank you, Kurt. Tonight on Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7, a pursuit, then a standoff with an armed man in the city of Orange. We'll have the latest on this breaking story. Plus, actor Ryan Reynolds hit by a car in Vancouver. He wasn't hurt, but the driver took off. And a seal detained by police near San Diego. How it ended up in the back of a cop car. Those stories and all the late breaking news on Southern California's #1 newscast, Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7.
Coming up next here, people are still heading to movie theaters, Fast and Furious.
Furious 7 proves it has staying power at the box office. We're going to show you the numbers.
Some young photojournalism students took to the water today to take photos of migrating whales. Our own ABC7 photographer, Stephen Coleman, was there in Long Beach to give the students some tips before they set sail. These students are part of the Minority Photojournalism Institute at Inglewood High School. We're told most of the young men, if not all of them, have never before been on a boat in their lives.
Through the kindness of one of my colleagues, Stephen Coleman, he set up a trip for us to go out and capture images of whales. During the year, we take several different photo field trips, and in June we have a photo exhibit with the students' work.
The Inglewood Pacific Links Arts Facet Photography program helps these students learn a vocation and gives them a positive outlet for their talents.
Furious 7 is still going fast in its second week at the box office.
Look, I can't do it, okay? Listen to what I'm saying. Now isn't the time.
The high-octane thriller took in $60.6 million, bringing its box office total to a whopping $252.5 million. The film prominently features a tribute to the late actor Paul Walker. It has already outgrossed all previous installments of the franchise, and it's poised to become the highest-grossing film in Universal's history. In second was the DreamWorks animated alien adventure Home, which pulled in $19 million in its third week of release. The only new wide release of the weekend, the Rodeo Romance, The Longest Ride, opened with $13.5 million. Get Hard and Cinderella rounded out the top 5.
Well, the new Avengers Age of Ultron expected to give Furious 7 a run for its money, due out May 1st, and we discovered a lot of our eyewitnesses are definitely Marvel fans. We asked for Instagram posts in your favorite Marvel character costume, and look at the response. It's all part of our morning show's contest. To win an invitation to a special fan event at Disneyland, all you have to do is post with the hashtag ABC7Avengers. Just check ABC7's Instagram page at ABC7LA for more photos and to get the official rules and the announcement of the winners. Some good candidates.
I want to vote on that. I want to be part of the selection committee. Can I just say that's awesome?
You have
He's
to
nominated
if you want to vote, though.
No problem.
Thanks for joining us for Eyewitness News at 7 here on LA56. We'll see you at 11 on Channel 7.
Yep.
Good night.